Hey everybody, it's Mike and Denise with aPlantBasedDiet.org, and I want to do a video on health insurers and the relationship to plant-based eating, and if that actually works. And if it does work, like we keep saying it over and over again, it works. It halts, prevents, and reverses most diseases. Then why aren't they utilizing this? Why aren't they just switching the paradigm over to plant-based eating, kind of move away from pharmaceuticals, except for the 20% or less of cases where they're actually really needed, and save a ridiculous amount of money and actually shrink the whole healthcare system? Why aren't they doing that? Denise?
I don't know.
Okay, well, here's what I thought. I watched a video recently and it got me thinking that when you hear about people in political circles talking about the healthcare crisis and trying to get things funded, we need to take care of our people, it's always about where is the money coming from. It's never about how can we cut the spending on these things. That's never an issue, right? It's like, hey, this person needs cancer treatment. How can we cut the spending on that? No, it's like we're going to figure out where the money comes from, or any kind of public health programs, et cetera, et cetera. And almost all those are not dealing. There's another victim of the standard American diet. All those issues are not dealing with the root cause, right? They are dealing with managing symptoms. They're dealing with paying the bills of keeping people in hospitals and other rehabilitation centers. They're not ever talking about healing people. They're just talking about treating people and then getting them back out on the streets, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't that it?
Yeah.
So
one of my friends is a physical therapist, and she's quitting and going to go into teaching something different because she's tired of not spending her time treating the patient and having to do all this paperwork.
Right.
It's all about how to get paid. I don't really care if the patient's getting better.
That's
or
it.
Not.
And the thing is, if it's an insurance and there's a premium required, and it is with most people, because if you look at the way politics is going, you want to make sure that everybody is covered, which is a good thing. Everybody should be covered as long as the system is set up right so that it encourages health and it encourages healing. But it doesn't, of course. It just encourages managing symptoms. So the bills get higher and higher. But if we frame it under the guise of health insurance, we're like, oh, well, these are the premiums, this new technology stuff's more money. Of course they go up. We just got to pay them. We got to figure out how to pay them. We don't need to question why it's happening. We just need to figure out where to get the money. And of course, when you do it that way, and that's the cycle, then everyone has jobs going forward, and the salaries keep going up over time because the insurance premiums go up over time. So it's like the minute you start talking about saving money and healing people, you start talking about cutting jobs or phasing jobs out and not giving people raises, and actually somehow making a system where it's not like a career, right? Like your friend was talking about. Okay, she was doing a career, but she finally realized it's a scam. Basically the way it's set up, it's not about health. It's sick care. It's disease management. That's what it is. And unfortunately, because everyone feels that health insurance is so important, it's like if you were to say, oh, health insurance isn't important, everyone would think that you are completely heartless and you want everyone to die. But the reality is, all this stuff is a business. All kinds of diseases are a business. Cancer especially, and other things will probably never go away because there's such a giant, system set up around just the business of managing those issues, I'd say. So that's the unfortunate truth, is that we are in, capitalism has a lot of good things. It encourages a lot of innovation, but it also encourages things like this that we're kind of trapped in now, which is somebody gets some segment of the population, like anyone involved in healthcare. And if you're involved in healthcare, let me know in the comments what you think about this, or please pass this along to others in your colleagues that might want to comment on these types of things. But once like the healthcare is a massive percentage of the GDP, gross domestic product, of the country, then all of a sudden they don't want it to go away. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why would you? No one involved in that wants it to go away or be minimized. And we've talked before on this channel about how the U.S. has the absolute highest spending per patient or per human actually out there on healthcare costs, and we have the sickest people. So there's no value there. It's just spending and spending. It's just the machine, the system. And that's what your friend, I guess, is sick of, right? She realizes it's just a machine. It's a money machine. That's what it is. It's not a healing machine. It should be a healing machine, shouldn't it? Ideally.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do anyway with our nonprofit. If you feel in any way passionate about this or you want to help us, just look down below. We got links where you can, give us a donation. It's all tax deductible. We're a 501c3 organization, and we just do what we can to get the word out. And hopefully this has impacted you. And if it did, or you think it'll impact somebody else, like I said, please share this video with other people. I want to hear input on fixes, changes, solutions, anything that can be done to modify the system, because we absolutely know that the system has to be changed. If the system is not going to be changed, then there's no way that basically we're going to get out of this downward spiral, I'd say. But we just want to barely keep people alive and manage their illnesses. And and then of course all those people who are like that, right? No, they're not really happy, not really. I'm sure they have a few brief moments in time where they are, but most of the time it's spent filling prescriptions and going to doctor's appointments. They can't, it's like it's like they're a prisoner.
Yeah, they can't escape it. And this country spends more on healthcare than just about any other developed nation.
Yeah,
and we have the
number one.
People.
Yep,
that
that's right.
proves that it's broken.
That's right. Well, unfortunately, the politicians only care about the next election. The status quo organizations like Big Pharma and other things just care about meeting their agenda and getting their agendas approved by the lawmakers. And that's the problem with capitalism. In this instance, it doesn't work. It works in so many ways. So many other parts of the system are awesome and better than anybody else's.
Yeah,
but
like trauma.
Yeah. I was just flipping through some videos online. I saw how somebody was out there saying that Chinese medicine perfected this 2,000 years ago. This whole way of living, which they probably did, or they're pretty damn close, way closer than we are nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, what happened is that this fake thing called money, this fiat currency, got in the way, and then still the American dream, the sort of standard of living everybody wants, and once they get it, they don't want to release it. They don't care if it means that everybody's doing better. If they're not going to be doing as good financially, then they're not going to want to do that. They're not going to make sure it doesn't happen. That's the way it works. I'm not being cynical. I'm not saying I'm a conspiracy theorist here. This is just the way it is. It is the way it is, right? We were talking about it earlier in the video this morning, how in 2022, most of the food that almost everyone's eating is making them sick every single meal of the day. It'll be great to look back in the future when we look back and say, I can't believe people were like animals back then, or worse, really. Those self-harming machines all they cared about was their taste buds for that moment in time. They didn't care about anything else. And, and like you said, Denise, everybody's sick and you're spending all this money on stuff. And even the people in the medical industry are not happy because they realize that their patients don't get better. And that's not a good feeling if you go into an industry to help people, right?
Yeah.
And that's physical therapy. That's pretty straightforward too. But, yeah. Okay, anything else you want to add to this?
No.
All right, well, that's it. Let us know your comments. It'd be very, very interesting to read your comments, your thoughts, your inputs on any way that you have, that you can think of, that you might be able to improve the system. Because that's what we want to do. We want to see it improved, and we want to help get us there. So in the meantime, just read our book, Live to 150. Most of the longevity secrets are in there, and all the stuff, liveto150.org. See you later. Bye.